Everybody want one?
Roll.
All right, whenever you guys are ready, look right here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dean Kremer.
I'm Jordan Westburg.
I'm David Rubenstein. Welcome to Season 2 of The Chill.
But this is how we chill. But this is how we chill. But this is how we chill. But this is how we chill. But this is how we chill.
So I have some questions at the beginning. So let me start with Dean. What was your batting average in Little League?
I can't tell you that I remember the specific numbers, but I can tell you that I cried every time I got out.
But you never make any outs, or you always...
Well, I made plenty of outs.
Really?
Yeah, hitting was never my strong suit.
But you were a pitcher.
Now, yeah.
Okay, but you weren't a pitcher then.
I think everybody does a little bit of everything in Little League.
Okay.
So you cried a lot.
I cried a lot.
Were you the best player in your Little League?
No.
What happened to the other players? What happened to them? Nothing? No, I mean, you're the only guy in your Little League who probably made the major leagues, right?
I think so. I'm sure.
Okay, so the others are just doing nothing now.
Just a late bloomer.
Okay.
Ended up working out.
All right. What was your batting average in Little League?
I want to say 1,000, but that would be a lie.
So it was...
Probably pretty close to what it was last year.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay. But were you the best player in your Little League?
No.
You weren't. What
I was
happened to the
not.
best player?
Probably the same thing as Dean. Faded out.
Right. So
Just-
when did you
yeah.
realize you were really going to be good enough to be in the major leagues?
Maybe when I got to professional baseball.
Okay.
Yeah, when I got drafted, I felt like I had a shot. And I just kept improving and kept like climbing the ladder. And I was like, okay, I can make this thing work.
And the
keep going.
best Major League Baseball organization is which one?
The Orioles.
Right. You agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, my question. David, you can answer this first.
Okay.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Virtually every day I think about it because I think about barbarians at the gate and how in 476 the barbarians conquered the Roman Empire and ended the Roman Empire. And I say, what did they do wrong to lose their empire? And is anybody going to do something wrong in this country that loses our empire? So I do worry about the Roman Empire, and I do worry about people taking over the empire.
Do you see a lot of similarities in the Roman Empire and
I think
the
the
United
Roman
States?
Empire and the American Empire has some similarities. Hopefully ours will last a lot longer than the Roman Empire, and we won't have the Visigoths at our doors destroying the empire, but you never know. 476 was a long time ago, and the world has changed, but I think generally, I think the Roman Empire did a pretty good job for the period of time that it was there, but, you know, what are we still getting from the Roman Empire today? Not that much. So hopefully our empire will last a lot longer.
Can you explain Visigoths?
Visigoths were the heathens that came and conquered the Roman Empire. They were the people were the marauders, the people that were called the barbarians, and they are the people that theoretically weren't as civilized as the Romans, but in fact they ultimately became, you know, fairly civilized over a period of time, and the Roman Empire never really recovered. There was the Holy Roman Empire later, but it really wasn't either holy or Roman or an empire, but it was called the Holy Roman Empire.
So you're a believer that history is cyclical.
I believe history is cyclical, and the most important thing about history is those people that don't remember history are condemned to relive it. So if you don't know about history, you're likely to make the same mistakes. And the theory of history is you should study it because if you don't know what people did wrong before, you're likely to do it again. That's the whole theory about history.
Read your books, kids.
I'm sorry?
Go to your
Yep.
class. Go to your classes.
Right, yeah.
Don't skip school.
Do school.
Right. All right.
School's important.
Well, remember, school's important, but Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard. Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of Harvard. And Abraham Lincoln never got past the first grade. So, you know, you can still do well if you apply yourself, even if you didn't go to college.
Gunnar Henderson didn't
I wasn't
go to
smart enough
college.
to drop out of college. If I had dropped out of college, I'd probably been more successful. But I went and got all the degrees, and now I don't really know what I'm doing with them.
That's pretty much everybody in that room who actually finished school.
Right. Okay, really?
There's probably only a handful of guys in there that have degrees.
Really?
Yeah.
That's true of most professional athletes these days, right?
The reason I asked that is it was an internet sensation, and I think a lot of people don't think about the Roman Empire. But you answered it the best I've ever heard anybody answer it. Can I use Visigoths? It's just like a term for people I don't like.
Visigoths.
Rumor has it, you have a special thing in history. How do you acquire the Magna Carta?
I went to the auction hoping that somebody would overpay and I wouldn't get it, but I got it. And I was bidding, and all of a sudden I started bidding, and the guy said, sold. I didn't know if anybody else was bidding against me. Maybe there was nobody else bidding, but I got it. And now I've given it to the National Archives where it is. It's the only one in private hands.
It's awesome.
Did it come with a case?
I built the case with the National Institute for Standards and Technology because I thought it needed to be really secure such that it's pretty indestructible. So I don't think anybody can probably break it.
I watched a lot of White Collar lately, and some people have some sticky hands.
Really?
What was the movie with Nicolas Cage? They stole the Declaration of Independence.
Oh,
National Treasure.
National Treasure.
So nobody can national treasure that thing.
I don't think so, but you never know. See, one of the advantages of putting something in the National Archives where it is I've got police around guarding it around the clock, and I'm not paying for it, so that's good. So I have police guarding it around the clock, and they've got people standing right by it, so it's pretty well protected. If it was in my house, I have to worry somebody's coming in and going to steal it, so I don't have to worry about that.
Smart man.
All right, more than you want to know.
Who is your hero or somebody that you look up to?
When I was a boy, there was one person I admired. His name was John F. Kennedy, President of the United States. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And that inspired me to want to go and do public service and give back to the country. So he was a person that I never met, but I did meet the man who wrote that speech for him. And I worked for him for a couple of years. His name was Ted Sorensen, the greatest presidential speechwriter of all time. And when I practiced law, I worked for him.
What age were you when you heard that speech and wanted
I
to start
was
doing
in
that?
the sixth grade, and my sixth grade teacher went over that speech by John Kennedy. I would say John Kennedy's speech was, I think, the best inaugural address of the 20th century. Second best was probably FDR's first inaugural address. I think Martin Luther King's speech is probably the greatest speech of the 20th century, the speech that he gave in August of '63 at the Lincoln Memorial. And the greatest speech ever given in this country was the Gettysburg Address. In 272 words, Lincoln captured what America's all about. And nobody has ever written 272 words that better encapsulate what America's all about. And he did it on the back of an envelope, more or less. He wrote it out by himself, no speechwriters. He gave it. He only spoke for 2 minutes. The key speaker that day was speaking for 3.5 hours. Nobody paid attention to what he said. Everybody remembers what Abraham Lincoln said in just 2 minutes.
It was hot out there, right? That's why he kept it short, or was that just a myth?
He wasn't the main speaker. The main speaker was invited to speak for a fee of $20,000, former senator from Massachusetts, president of Harvard, and he was paid a big fee, and for getting a big fee, he gave a large speech. It went on for 3.5 hours. By the time Lincoln got up, he was an afterthought. He was invited after the main speech was supposed to be given, and he wasn't the main speaker, and he was only given a short period of time. And he gave a 2-minute address that's more famous than anything else anybody has ever said. So it is amazing that they gave that speech after he wrote it out just twice. He had a draft and he rewrote it once. There are only 5 copies of it left, and it's an incredible speech.
Don't own one of those?
There are only 5 of those, and the 2 are owned by the Library of Congress. One is owned by Cornell University. One is at the Lincoln Museum in Springfield, and one is in the Lincoln bedroom at the White House. So what actor would you like to play yourself in a movie about your life? If it was a movie about your life, who would you like to have play you?
I need to think about this one.
Does he have to look like me?
Well, no, just a good actor. Who would, I mean, you look like George Clooney. Would you like him?
I look like George Clooney. I'm honored.
Okay.
I hope I age like he does.
Well, George Clooney is a good guy, and, you wouldn't want him?
I think I'm going to go with a Keanu Reeves
Really?
kind of vibe, yeah.
Okay.
Kind of serious, can kind of not be,
All right.
have a little bit of range.
And you would like...
Yeah, I think I like Chris Pratt.
That's a good
I've
one.
seen a lot of movies with Chris Pratt in it recently, and I like him as an actor. He's got good range, too.
What about Tom Cruise? Not good enough looking?
Too short.
Too
Yeah,
short.
too
Okay,
short.
that's right. All right. That's right. Okay.
Does he do his own stunts?
Oh, yeah, he does.
I guess, yeah, I would have to have somebody that does his own stunts. I feel like you can't wuss out if you're going to play me.
If you had a chance to meet anybody in the world and just have lunch or dinner with them, who would you want to meet?
I'm watching a documentary on Netflix right now about Black Hawk Down, and I would like to meet Tom Satterley. He was one of the guys involved
Really?
in that Battle of Mogadishu. Yeah.
Okay. So you could meet anybody in the world. Who would you like to meet, have dinner with?
Very tough question. Not one that I've given a lot of thought to.
Well, what about Sandy Koufax? You wouldn't like to have dinner with him?
He was pretty good. I mean, Palmer's definitely come around and taught us a few things over the course
Okay.
of the years.
And who is the greatest baseball player of all time in your view?
In my view, Ken Griffey Jr. And I say that because I feel like he opened an avenue for like young players to come in and just have fun, and like he wore his hat backwards. The home run derby he participated in and just put on shows. Like the style of play he had, I feel like that you're starting to see that a lot now in today's game. Is like people are pushing the fun envelope and showing emotion, having fun, smiling, laughing. And I feel like he, at least that I can remember, was kind of the first guy who I saw and was like, okay, that's what fun looks like on a baseball field.
So who would you say is the greatest baseball player of all time?
One of the greatest pitchers I think of all time is Randy Johnson. He was so unique and so different and so dominant comparatively to the rest of the league that like what Sale did last year is just different than everybody else, and so it's like easier to dominate the game when you're just a little bit different. Do you watch all our games?
Every game.
Every night.
Every game. Maybe I watch it in replay, but every game.
I respect that.
So I want to make sure that I know what's going on. So somebody says to me, "You watch all our games," I can say yes. And somebody asks me what happened last night, I have to know. So if you're in my position and somebody says, "What happened to your team last night?" and you don't know, it's not good, right?
No, it's not.
It's like when you're watching a game and you're sitting in the front row and the team isn't doing well, you can't leave.
Bad look.
Right, it doesn't look good to say, well, look, they're behind 9-0. I think I'll go do something else. Doesn't look good, right?
You're right. So you cash out hats instead, right?
Pass out hats and do whatever I can and make sure that nothing I'm saying can be picked up on a microphone that makes me look like I said something I shouldn't be saying. You have to be very careful. I guess you're aware of this.
Hot mics are a thing.
Yes, I know that.
Last question. Who do you get mistaken for the most?
People think I look like Steve Martin. Now, Steve Martin doesn't think I look like him, and I've had pictures with Steve Martin, and I'm much better looking than Steve Martin, but people still think I look like Steve Martin. I don't think so, but that's what people say.
You're very good.
Okay,
I mean, on the baseball field, pretty much anybody with long hair. So.
but your view on hair is like Samson. You know, if your hair gets cut, then you would lose all your strength, right?
All my superpowers are gone. Right.
So that's why you have to keep your hair long, right?
Exactly. I've got enough, so better hold on to it for now.
Okay. Well, you hold on to it now because when you get to be my age, you might not have as much.
Exactly. Gotta make the most of it.
Right.
If you had 3 wishes to be granted, what would you wish for?
Number 1, the Orioles win the World Series this year.
That's a good wish.
Number 2, they win the World Series the next year. And number 3, they win the World Series the year after that. 3 in a row. So, no, I don't think anybody's won 3 World Series in a row in quite a while, so that would be a good wish. So your hands are okay now?
My hand is good.
Right. Where was it broken?
Right there.
Oh,
It looks, you can tell, right?
Is it okay? Does it hurt?
You want to touch it? Ow.
Oh. Uh-oh. I hope you don't go to injured reserve
Hey.
or something like that.
Hey.
I mean, I'm going to hurt him again. I don't want to get in trouble.
But this is how we chill. But this is how we chill.